All right, fifth grade, welcome to our second math lesson this week. Today we're going to be working with patterns again in multiplication. We're going to be focusing on the patterns that we find in fives and zeros. This is going to go along with your 4.2 homework. All right, so let's take a look at some basic problems. Let's say 5 times 2. 5 times 4, 5 times 6, 5 times 8. All right, now go along with me. What do you see? 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times 4 is 20. 5 times 6 is 30. 5 times 8 is 40. Okay, that wasn't too hard. Now let's take a look and point out everything we notice that's in common. Well, 5 appeared. Yep. That's in common. What else is in common that's really obvious? Oh, each one ended with a 0. Okay, well that's a pattern. 5 times something equals a number that ends with 0. But what's similar about the second number? 2, 4, 6, 8. We call those even numbers. So here's a pattern. When I take 5 times an even number, my answer is going to end with 0. Every time. You can do any even number. Let's even think of a really big even number. Okay, let's say like 500 times 80. That's pretty big. Well, what did we learn yesterday? 5 times 8 gets me 40. Throw these extra 3 zeros at the end to shift it over. I get 40,000. Did my answer end with a 0? Yes, it did. That's a pattern. 5 times an even number will get you an answer that ends with a 0. Now let's take a look at a different way to look at that. Let's still stay with 5s. 5 times 3. 5 times 5. 5 times 7, and 5 times 9. Okay? All right. Now, when I look at all these numbers, these are all odd numbers. Hope you notice that. Let's go through them. 5 times 3 is 15. 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times 7 is 35. 5 times 9 is 45. All right, now let's look at patterns. Of course, we're talking about 5s. All of my answers end in 5. And now what is common about the middle numbers? All these middle numbers are odd numbers. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, those are my odd numbers. So when I take 5 times an odd number, I'm going to get a number that ends in 5. Okay, that's the pattern I want you to work with today. Now, what happens when I take that and I add a 0 at the end? Okay, well, let's try that. Let's take a big number like what we did before, and let's say 500 times 30. Okay? Well, use a pattern we learned yesterday. 5 times 3 is 15. Shift it over the zeros. How many zeros? 3. I get 15,000. And you might be saying, wait a minute, Mr. Ivan. I thought you said whenever I multiply it by an odd number, I'm going to get a number that ends with 5, but it ends with 0. Well, pump the brakes. Let's look at this. 5 times 3 is 15. There's my 5. Why does it end with a 0 this time? Because I had to shift it over these 3 zeros to get 15,000. All right? All right, you're going to put that into practice today on 4.2 homework.